Today we're going to learn how to study probability using Punnett squares. Before we begin, let's review a few of the terms. Dominant. When a trait is dominant, that means that the trait appears or will hide or cover a recessive trait. We normally will use a capital letter to talk about a dominant trait, so we will say in this case we'll use a big B, which will actually stand for brown, because brown eyes in a population is dominant. So recessive can be hidden or masked by the dominant, and in this case blue is our recessive trait because blue eyes in our population is recessive. We also want to review the terms homozygous. That would mean that we would have two of the same alleles for a trait. So in this case, we could have a big B, which would be brown. We may also have a little b, which would be blue. Let's also do heterozygous. That means that you have one allele that is dominant and one allele that is recessive. But since the dominant hides or masks the recessive, that person also has brown eyes. So let's continue. So let's talk about Punnett squares and how we actually figure out what offspring would look like based on their parents. So Punnett square is nothing more than a chart. We put one parent up on the top and other parents on the side. So let's start by doing a heterozygous parent, big B, little b, and a heterozygous parent over here, big B, little b. And then we're going to need to fill in the letters, and the letters will go across, and these letters will go down. So I'll just do the first ones going across. I'll take this B and this B across. We'll take this little b across. We'll take this big B down into these boxes and this little b into these boxes. Notice we always write the dominant before the recessive allele. So let's talk about the offspring for 1 second. Inside each box, at this point, we actually have one offspring that is big B, or homozygous, brown eyes. We have two offspring that have big B, little b, or heterozygous, and they also have brown eyes. And we have one offspring that is a little b, homozygous, who will have blue eyes. So why don't you try and practice some on your own? Okay, so let's start by practicing using a Punnett square with parents that have a different allele combination. So let's take one parent that is heterozygous, just like before, but let's cross that parent with a blue-eyed parent. Once again, letters down, letters across. We have big B, little b, little b, little b, big B, little b, and little b, little b. So in this case, now we have 50% of our offspring have big B, little b, or are heterozygous and have brown eyes. And 50% of our offspring are homozygous and have blue eyes.